Hey guys, welcome back. My last video I did to conclude Drugstore Week didn't have a proper outro. So before I jump into today's video, I just want to say thank you so much for all the love you guys showed me during Drugstore Week. It was a really stressful week to film and edit and upload all on the same day because it wasn't something I planned ahead. It was really sporadic. I realized that it was prom month. I know some proms already passed. But because of that, I wanted to be able to provide those of you going to prom with affordable makeup options and also show you that you don't have to break the bank in order to achieve a really glamorous look. So I kind of pulled it all together last minute and it was all so worth it because it looks like all of you enjoyed it. Based off your guys' feedback, a lot of you wanted me to do a follow-up video going over what some of the best products were from Drugstore Week. So I'm going to be doing that today and I'm going to be going by categories. So primer, foundation, concealer, powder, everything. And some of the products I might have not used this past week, but I have used them in the past. So I'm going to be going over all of that in this video. Let's jump straight into it because this video might be a long one. Okay, I'm going to try and stick to the same order in which you would apply your makeup and just giving you guys a warning that the light might fluctuate a lot in here, so I might go from really light to really dark since I'm filming somewhere aside from my studio. Starting off with face primer. These two are no surprise because I use them all week long. I have the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer and also the NYX Born to Glow Illuminating Primer. This one by NYX is, to me, a dupe for the original MAC Strobe Cream. And then the L'Oreal Magic Lumi, to me, this one is a little more lightweight but still gives your skin a really nice luminosity and also a pearlescent reflect. So these two are great if you feel like you have dull, dry skin and need to bring back some life and some light into it. And another one that I didn't use this past week but is also really great and I've used it in past tutorials. This one is the RIMMEL Lasting Finish Primer. This I would recommend for more of an oily skin type because it says on here increases foundation wear for up to 8 hours. Not that it's going to help to control or reduce oil, but I just feel like an oilier skin type has a harder time prolonging the wear of their makeup because of the oil. So this is really going to help to prolong the wear of your makeup. Moving on to foundation, I have quite a few because each one targets a different concern or skin type. The first one I want to talk about is the MILANI Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. This one I would recommend to someone who wants a full coverage but is more normal to dry because it is a very creamy emollient foundation and it does leave you a little shiny, so you have to powder it down afterwards. If you also want a full coverage but you're more towards the oily side, I would recommend Infallible Pro Matte by L'Oreal. This one has more of a moussey texture, really full coverage, and this does stay on your skin for hours. It says on here 24-hour wear, which I don't know if it wears for 24 hours, nor do I recommend that you wear foundation for 24 hours. Never sleep in your makeup, but it did stay on. And when I used it in my tutorial this past week, I mixed it with Infallible Pro Glow. Both of these together looked so incredibly flawless and it created a really nice satin finish, not too glowy, not too matte, just the perfect combination. So I highly recommend these two mixed together. But if you don't want to do that, if you're oily, Pro Matte. If you're dry, Pro Glow. For those of us who want more of a natural finish and an everyday foundation, I would highly recommend Maybelline's Dream Cushion. This is really seamless on the skin. It creates a really flawless, even complexion. I love it. It makes my skin look amazing. I've worn it during the day and at night, and it never fails. When it comes to concealer, you guys probably noticed in this past week's tutorials that I very rarely used an actual concealer. And that's because, one, a lot of the foundations I was using were already a full coverage, so I just used a lighter shade to highlight down the center of the face. And two, I learned that less is more with drugstore makeup. I find that drugstore concealers, primers, and foundations and powders don't layer as nicely as high-end makeup. My first bit of advice would be to use a lighter shade of the foundation you're already using to highlight, if you can get away with that. If not, the two concealers that I really like and are a little more towards the lighter side, they're not really that heavy on the skin, are the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer and the NYX HD Studio Concealer. These two are really creamy and fluid, so they work really well for highlighting down the center of the face and underneath the eyes, especially because you don't want to apply a really heavy concealer underneath the eyes. It just looks like a lot. The more fluid ones like these two just glide on, you can highlight with them, and you can also use them underneath the eyes, which is a major plus. Now let's talk about powder. And if you saw my first video from Drugstore Week where I actually took you guys shopping with me, you saw that I bought about, I don't even know how many powders I bought at this point. I need to go through them all. And I think I need a drum roll for this because I've narrowed it down to one drugstore powder that I think is the absolute best. and a dupe for Laura Mercier's translucent powder. So are you ready? Drumroll please. The best drugstore setting powder is the number 7 Translucent Perfect Light Loose Setting Powder. I would use this as an everyday powder. I would work it into my normal routine. I wouldn't just use it as a drugstore option. It is that good. It sets everything really nicely. It does contain talc, which can be drying, but also the Laura Mercier powder has talc in it. So that's why I'm not making a big deal out of it. It works really, really well. I bought mine at Target for around $12 to $13. So good. And it comes in different shades, translucent, light, and I believe there's a darker or medium shade as well. When it comes to bronzers, I have to thank you guys for this next one because if it weren't for your recommendations, I probably would have never picked it up or have known about it. This is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. And the reason I love it is because it is the perfect shade of bronze for my light olive skin tone. It's not too warm, not too cool. It's right in the middle. You can still contour with it. And it has a slight, it's not shimmery. It doesn't go on like a highlight and it doesn't have glitter in it, but it's almost like a satin finish. I would compare it to the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion bronzers where they look shimmery, but they don't go on your skin shimmery. It's almost like they just add a little bit of extra dimension without falling flat or being completely matte. So I really love this one. Again, the only negative about it is the scent, which it doesn't smell bad. It smells really good actually. It's just, it's really strong. So I could do without the fragrance. Aside from that, I absolutely love this one. And I also want to mention the number 7 bronzer in the shade Golden Sand. This one is completely matte and it's a little more towards the warmer side, especially in comparison to the Butter Bronzer, but it looks really beautiful on the skin, not too orange where you look like an Oompa Loompa, but just warm enough that it allows you to look sun-kissed, and you can do a little bit of contouring with it because it's matte, so I really highly recommend this one as well. For blush, this next one is a no-brainer because when I used it in my tutorial, it was absolutely stunning, and I think all of you had the same reaction. This is the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Bella Bellini. It's a golden peachy blush, so it's going to be very flattering on a lot of skin tones, especially for spring and summer. And in comparison to Luminoso, because I know that's another really popular Milani blush, this one's just more peachy and gold, whereas the Luminoso is like a really pretty soft pink. But they both still have the same amount of shimmer. So I'm actually wearing this one today, by the way. For highlighters, I decided to break it up into 3 different categories: liquid, cream, like a stick highlighter, and powder highlighters, because I couldn't decide between the 3 since they're all so different. But for powder highlighters, this one is still my holy grail because of the price and the quality. This is Maybelline's The Glow Down Eyeshadow. It is an eyeshadow, not a highlighter, in case you've had trouble finding it in the Maybelline section at your drugstore. Look in the eyeshadow section. And the reason it wins as my number 1 powder highlighter is because it's $3. You cannot beat that price. And if you've seen my video that I did on just this eyeshadow, I'll link it right here if you guys haven't checked it out yet. It compares to a lot of high-end highlighters, and it will also go with a wide variety of skin tones. So definitely pick this one up, do that swiping motion, get yourself 10 of them, stock up. When it comes to a liquid highlighter, I really love the Master Strobing Liquid. Same thing for the stick highlighter. I love the Master Strobing Stick by Maybelline. The color range is really great. You can mix these into foundation. You can apply this before foundation. These two just go together, paired with Glow Down. You'll have the ultimate glow. And for another stick highlighter that I really wanted to mention, this is the Sonia KASHUK highlighter in the shade Sparkling Sands. I had almost forgotten about this one, but what drew me to this one is, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, I was assisting on a W magazine shoot under Yadim Carranza, and he swore by this and had us apply it to every single model before applying their foundation, or maybe it was after foundation, I don't know, but he made us all go out to Target and buy this before the W magazine shoot, and I've been obsessed with it ever since, so definitely check this one out as well. For brows, my go-to everyday brow product is the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. Think of this sort of like Gimme Brow by Benefit, where it has fibers in it, so it's going to make your brows look fuller, also more defined, makes them look thicker. So I really like this for every day when I don't want to use a brow pencil. You just have to get used to the brush, and I know I've mentioned this before, but the brush is just a little awkward, but it works. You have to give it a try. And when I want more of a defined brow, I really enjoyed using the Brow Stylist Definer by L'Oreal. I find that a lot of drugstore brow pencils have more of a creamy more emollient texture similar to an eyeliner, which isn't necessarily good for a brow pencil because you want to deposit the product on your brows in small amounts versus a lot at once. You wouldn't use an eyeliner to fill in your brows. It can look really heavy. So I find that this one, even though it sounds weird to say, it's more towards the dry side, making it easier to use or just control the amount of product that you're applying so that you get more of a natural brow versus a really heavy looking brow. And then to set my brows in place, I really like the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Brow Mascara. A lot of you guys, I think, are getting these two confused because you have said that this one comes in clear, but it's this product. These are two different product collections or lines within Maybelline. This is Brow Drama and this is Brow Precise. This one comes in clear and color. This one comes just in color. So this one is more so for setting, holding the brows in place. This one adds volume with those fibers and also adds color. So more defined brow and setting in place. Two different things. So for an eyeshadow base, I highly recommend the Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer by Wet n Wild. It's really lightweight, transparent, and locks your shadow in place. Another one that's similar is the NYX Proof It eyeshadow base, which I don't have on hand right now, but I'll make sure to show on the screen. And these two eyeshadow primers are really comparable to the NARS eyeshadow primer. I don't know the exact name of that one, but I hope these references to higher end products are giving you guys a better idea of what these drugstore products look and feel like, since you can't necessarily try them out at the drugstore. For me, it helps get a better understanding of the product. So these two I highly recommend. And of course, up next is eyeshadow. And I definitely say check out the NYX Full Throttle eyeshadow quads. These are by far the most pigmented eyeshadows from the drugstore. The only thing is the color combinations. I think some of them might throw you off. Some of the colors that they paired together in these quads are kind of interesting, so you have to get really creative or buy a couple of these, and I think each one retails for $10. If not, back to the Maybelline Expert Wear single eyeshadows, same as the Glow Down, they retail for $3. And the quality is really, really good. They're super pigmented, and they're actually pretty big. They're bigger than the little round single eyeshadow pans you get from like Makeup Geek or Anastasia. I'm gonna check how big the Makeup Geek pans are really quick, just for reference. Okay, so after looking at this, you do get more product from the Expert Wear eyeshadows from Maybelline. You get 2.3 grams, and from the Makeup Geek pans, you get 1.8 grams. So these make for... Another one I want to mention really quickly are the Maybelline Color Tattoo Eye Chromes. If you feel like you can't get a lot of pigment from drugstore eyeshadows, I definitely suggest checking these out. They're like a liquid cream eyeshadow, really pigmented, extremely long wearing, and you can always apply more eyeshadow on top and use these as a base to get a really nice pop from your eyeshadows. All right, we're getting close to the end here, which thank goodness, because I'm starting to get oily again and I don't want to get up. I just want to wrap this up. So sticking with the eye category, I'm moving into eyeliners next. And I actually have a lot in the eyeliner category. So starting off with pencil eyeliners, I have the Exaggerate Waterproof Eye Definer by Rimmel, MILANI Stay Put Waterproof Eyeliner, L'Oreal Silkissime Liners, Maybelline Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencils, and also the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Shine Eyeliner. Wow, that is a really long name. All of these are really pigmented, really creamy. They go on really easily, especially the waterline. And for a liquid liner, this is the only one I've tried, so I'm going to be going through your guys' recommendations on a previous video, but the Voluminous Liner Noir by L'Oreal was really easy to use and it wore really nicely. So for the only liquid eyeliner that I currently have, it's really good. Mascara, Maybelline Colossal Big Shot. This is a no-brainer. I use it in every single video. And then the other classic is the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. And for lashes, without a doubt, the Ardell Wispies and Demi Wispies. They look good on every single eye shape. Also, the Kiss Blooming Lash, I believe is what it's called, are really good. I just ran out, so I didn't use them this past week. But I will make sure to list them down below for your guys' reference because I don't have any to show you at the moment. And finally, to wrap up this video, we have the lip category. If you're in the market for a good nude lipstick, guarantee Maybelline will have your shade with their, I believe it's Inti-Matte or Intimates Matte Nude Lipstick Collection. I mean, these are all the shades right here, minus this Wet n Wild one, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But you're guaranteed to find your perfect shade of nude in here. And I like to mix the colors to customize my own all the time. The other one that was in here is the Wet n Wild. These don't have a name. They're just It just has the shade number and the shade name, but not the actual lip range. But the Wet n Wild lipsticks that look like this, they're really good, but they are creamy, they're not matte. But they're extremely pigmented and long wearing, even though they are really creamy. And lastly, we have the Wet n Wild Color Icon Matte Liquid Lipsticks. Not much to say about these aside from that they are, again, like all Wet n Wild products, super affordable. Oh, which actually reminds me, now that I'm talking about Wet n Wild, I forgot to mention some good setting sprays. I would say my favorite one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. I did mention this in a video a long time ago, almost like a year ago. It's only about $5 and it just sets your makeup really beautifully, makes your skin look amazing, and also prolongs the wear of your makeup. And I think that pretty much covers everything. If I missed anything as I'm editing this video, I'll make sure to include it in the description box, so make sure to check that. And also, do me a favor before you guys head out and comment down below on any other drugstore products you would want me or anyone else to check out, because I would have never found that butter bronzer if it weren't for your guys' recommendations. So definitely do that for me. I find it super helpful. And with that said, that wraps up Drugstore Week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe before you head out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.